Hi friends, it's Jenny and look what I got. It is the August Bargain Bead Box and I'm really excited to open this. I know there's already been a couple of unboxings, but a lot of people are getting their boxes this weekend or here in the next few days. And if you don't want to know what's in this, this is your give you a couple of minutes, couple of moments to go ahead and hit save for later on this video if you want to be surprised when you open your own package, if you haven't already gotten it yet and are going to be getting it soon. I haven't shown you anything that's in here. I mean, you can see that there's kind of bluish tones, but we kind of already knew that from her preview. So, but there is, I'm not showing you any of the details, so I'm going to give it another few seconds to talk about it, or to save this for later. This is the Bargain Bead Box, and it is a subscription box, and it is easily the best value for money that you get. It always has some gemstones, some great selections, and it is very, very meticulously curated by Lauren Fenty and her team. So I'm excited about opening this because she does an amazing job, and we're gonna get into it. There's going to be details on signing up for the subscription in the description below, including a link that you can follow to go ahead and sign up, as well as a coupon code that you can use for a discount. And yeah, I think I've given you enough time. It's about 1.5 minutes into the video, and I'm going to open this. This is themed Bohemian Nights. And I was a good girl and covered the coupon code. If you do subscribe to Bargain Bead Box, you do get a 30% coupon code that can be used at the sister store. And I love to shop there. I just do. I love to shop there. We're celebrating the Celestial with this free-spirited collection starring a high-quality cubic zirconia pendant and matching charms, plus turquoise magnesite, carnelian, quartz, and more. We love the colorful crystal accents and 18-karat gold-plated findings. Here we go. I'm going to get this turned over, and I am going to do this in order. I have not organized this. One of the things that Becky and I do on our channel, instead of just unboxing everything and laying it out for you to see, we organize it. So I'm going to be organizing this month's box into our favorite 15 grid organizer. It's usually exactly the right size to contain everything that we get in these boxes. One thing that's a little bit different between me and Becky is that if I encounter some metal findings, because I do have a metal allergy, if I encounter some metal findings that aren't nickel-free or hypoallergenic, I will set them aside in the bottom portion of this organizer. So you'll see me organize the entire collection. I'll just remove them after the video to send on to my sister. So that's just the one little variation. But let's get into this. I think I'm just grabbing, yep, they're starting us off with the main focal. Where did it go? It was just here. There it is. Number one. All right, number one, then two. Okay. So I'm really, really excited about this. I did see another unboxing, so I did know a little bit ahead of time. This is a 34 by 30, 18 karat gold-plated brass and cubic zirconia round pendant. And usually when there's a metal pendant as the primary focal in one of these boxes, I can't use it. But this guy, as it says right here on the label, is lead-free, nickel-free, and cadmium-free. So since this is nickel-free, I can use it. Look at the detail on that and the pretty blue stones. I am excited about that. And I think he will fit right there in like kind of the focal area. So I'm very excited about that. The next item is the 18 karat gold plated 16 by 14 millimeter brass and cubic zirconia star charms. And these match, and I'm a little bit heartbroken that they are not nickel free. They are lead free and cadmium free, but they're not listed as nickel free. So I'm gonna set them aside in that other section right now. It's just one of those things. I'd rather err on the side of caution. It probably is also nickel free, but Lauren won't list something as being nickel free unless she has the results back from the manufacturer, like confirming it. So I probably won't use those, but they're so They're so pretty. They're so pretty. They're going to make lovely earrings. Just not for me. And that's okay. Okay, and then we have, this is the 8mm magnesite. It is, it usually says how long the strand is. 15-inch strand. I have to go look over at my other sheet. So 15-inch strand of 8mm. This is dyed and heated to be this turquoise blue color. Magnesite's normally white, but all of this, the markings and stuff in it, those are natural to the stone. So the crackling that you get, the veining, those are natural to the stone. They're just dyed this color. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in my organizer here. I'm going to see if I can get them to fit in one section. But I might need two. The 8mm, sometimes I do. Yep, that's full, and I still have these on the strand. So I'm going to go ahead and take down one of my little dividers. That's one of the reasons why Becky and I like this organizer, is because it has some customization available in the space that you use. There we go. So there's the magnesite. And then we've got a 15-inch strand of synthetic turquoise. This is a man-made synthetic turquoise, and these are matte round beads, 6mm, 15 inches. Since this is 6mm, it will probably fit just fine on its own, but let's give you a good look at it. Man-made, but it's a nice looking turquoise look stone, and the veining in there is kind of like almost a grayish purple, which is kind of cool. It's called Bohemian Nights, but I'm definitely at this point picking up more of daytime colors. I think the Nights is going to come in with some of the findings and the moon motif, possibly. Moon, stars. I mean, we have the star, these little star guys over here. So, yep, those fit just fine right there. I accidentally dropped something that I didn't want to drop. That's fine. It stuck to my arm, and my arm moved, and it's like, hey, let's go on an adventure. But I got it. Got it. All right. Then we've got, this is a 7-inch strand. That's these guys. Yes. 7-inch strand of 6mm blue agate. It is dyed and heated, but they're faceted. Yeah, these are faceted. So you can see the light kind of catch on those. Let me get my ladybug dish out so you can get a little bit better true color of what those look like. Very fun. Leans into that turquoise kind of theme that we have going on. And that coils up just fine in there. So I'm just going to leave it. No, I'm going to take it off of its blue strand because, let me get my scissors instead. Little snips. Because it is a colored thread, so I'm going to actually spill some of these out so you can see the variation a little bit without that blue thread running through it. That's really pretty. I love these colors. I absolutely love these colors. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what I can make with this. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to make at the end of this video. This month, Becky and I are doing small designs on the fly when we open something. And so this is, I'm going to need to make from this. And so I'm starting to think about what I might want to do. But I've got all those pretty blue colors. Love, love, love the blue. Then we've got moon phase beads. That's these guys. It's a 10-piece, 18 gold-plated brass moon phase beads. And they're really cute, but they are only, it doesn't show it on here, but on the packing list, they're listed as lead-free and cadmium-free. So these are not nickel-free, so I'll be passing these along to my sister. So they're going to go in that bottom portion with my star pendants, but they're really cute. Some full moons and some quarter moons. So that's that can make for some fun designing. putting aside the packets for the ones that I'm giving to Becky. And then we have some golden rutilated quartz. Golden rutilated quartz. Here we go. 4 millimeter, and it's 15 inches. And I am going to leave this on the strand because they are very small beads. But giving you a little bit closer look. And that agate didn't take up a whole lot of space, so I'm going to go ahead and set this on top of the agate for now. I might move things around, do different roommate situations, but that one on its strand is just, it's just happy hanging out. Happy hanging out. Golden rutile quartz. I keep thinking rutilated. Oh, it says rutilated on the packing slip. I was not wrong. Okay, and then we have a 7-inch strand of 8 millimeter star cut carnelian, also called English cut. And it's got this really nice variation from these like warm cidery oranges to some darker, almost red tones. Very, very nice. I'm going to go ahead and put them here. They're very cute. And they bring in some of those, so those orangey, coppery, reddish tones to help counter all the blue that we've got going on. All right, then we have a faceted oh, okay, that's these guys. Okay. So this is 6 by 5 millimeter faceted lantern beads in teal iris, and it's a 7-inch strand. I love teal. I absolutely love teal. And this is gorgeous. Look at that shape and the faceting on it. Oh, that's so pretty. That is so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and take that off its wire. It has the thin pokey wire that is sometimes a pain. Actually, I'm going to put them over here. I changed my mind. I have something else I'm going to put over here that I can see in my pile. Whoops. You know what? It's probably easier if I just spill all these out. Get this strand out of my way. There we go. Put some of these. May as well, since they decided they wanted to be on the ladybug dish anyway. Look at how pretty those are. Oh, the facets. The facets. Very, very nice. I like those a lot. And I don't think, where did it go? The package. I just have the package, did I not? There we go. Yeah, and teal iris. So it's got a little bit of an iris coating. That's where you're getting those kind of purple flashes. I was like, that's not AB. What is it? It's an iris coating. So super fun. Super, super fun. And then we've got a crystal facet. So these are 3 by 2 crystal faceted rondelle beads in a Bohemian mix. And these are like light and bright, but I think that they're really fun. They kind of remind me of like maybe Spice Market, where you would encounter those bold yellows and reds, saffron and turmeric. Like that's probably where this is coming from, why they're calling this a Bohemian mix, is the spices and stuff that you would get. Saffron and turmeric, that's that thing. So I'm going to go ahead, and these guys are also going to roommate because they'll just coil up nicely on their strand. I'm not taking them off because they're so small. And I'm going to put them here with the carnelians. I might move some of these things around, but for now, that's where they're going to hang out. We can't really see the carnelian right now, but I will move things around. If I have room to give these more of their own moment in the box, then I will. I want to make sure I could get everything in here first. Okay, crystal facets. glass crescent beads in champagne. Oh, these are so pretty. Okay, so this is 10 pieces, 14 by 10 millimeter glass crescent moon beads in champagne. And I'm gonna get these on my dish so that you can see that gold shimmer and glow. They're drilled side to side through the middle, which might be tricky for certain designs, but could also be really cool. You just have to get creative how you use those. I like those a lot. I like those a lot. Okay, after the glass crescent moon beads, we have glass moon and star coin beads in steel blue. I love, honestly, I love anything that's steel blue. But these are, you can see the moon here in the middle and then stars all around it. If it's angled a certain way, it looks a little bit like a Cheshire cat, like that Cheshire grin. But they're really pretty blue color, and they are drilled top to bottom with the crescent either up or down is how they're drilled. And there's 10 of those that want to go in they want to party with everybody. I've moved them. They're good. All right, and then we have crystal faceted round beads in jade blue. This is 20 pieces, 10 millimeter. And jade blue is just the opacity. They're not like completely opaque. They're very slightly translucent. Like you can see some light through them, but not a lot. But they're very pretty. And I'm gonna put them up here in the same row with all of my blue guys. Do they fit? They do fit. They fit. Okay. All right, I am going to move this over here, and I'm going to put the rutilated quartz with it so that we can see better what everything is, and these guys will just share. These will be roommates, my little stranded options. I like that better, so I can still see all of the fun things, because one of the reasons why we put them in these containers is if we leave them in the bag or the pouch, then we aren't looking at them and seeing them and being inspired by them. And so we like to put it in this container so we can see the collection together and see the beads together and start imagining ways that we want to put it together. But we have more. We have more. That was only number 13 out of 21 items. So let's open the rest of these. Now we're getting into more of the metals. We opened a few metals early on. This is the rest of the metals. The next thing that we have is this one. Gold-plated brass and cubic zircon moon charms. And these are so tiny. These are so tiny. They are 9 by 7 millimeter, and that's 9 with the loop, so 7 millimeters across. So that circle is very cute. But they are not listed as nickel-free or hypoallergenic, so I am going to set them aside. Again, I'm going to be passing those along to my sister because she doesn't have the same metal allergy that I do, and so she doesn't have to be as careful with it as I do. Everybody needs to be a little bit careful. She doesn't have to be as careful as me. And then number 15, there it is. These ones are, it's a 4-piece, 22 by 16, 18 karat gold plated brass crescent moon links, and these ones are nickel-free. And so there's 4 of them. And I like it that there's a loop at the top and the bottom, but then there's also a hole in the top of that crescent. And they're, of course, because there's no carving or anything, they're the same front or back. You can flip it both directions. But there's a hole here so you can dangle something into that space. So these are going to be super, super fun for earrings or for like creating a link for your focal on a necklace. So those are really great, and I'm happy that I get to use those. So those are nickel free and I get to use them. Those are mine. I'm claiming them. I am claiming them. And then I might make earrings today. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. All right. And then we have number 18. Nope. Number 16. 16. This is 30 by 22 gold-plated brass chandelier pendant link. It's lead-free and cadmium-free, not nickel-free. So it's going to go in little Beki segment over here. But it's got some cool options. You know, you've got the 2 holes on the tips, but also 2 holes here. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. You can maybe hang it from here and then dangle from here, here, and here. There's a lot of things that you can do with that. And it's that same gold-plated, lead-free, cadmium-free. And then after that one, we've got, here's number 17. Here we go. It's an 8 pieces of 10 by 7 millimeter, 18 karat gold-plated stainless steel, and it is the hypoallergenic grade of stainless steel. Not all stainless steel works, but if it's the hypoallergenic grade, then I can use it. And these are moon charms. And they're just these sweet little moons. Sweet little moons that have a hole in one point. I'm gonna put them in with my moon links. That feels like a good place to put them, and I can use those, so they get to be in this part of my box. This right now is the only metal I have to set aside. There's gonna be a little bit more, but not a whole lot more. Not a whole lot more that has to go there. Okay, and then we have where they are. Here we are. This is number 18. It's 100 pieces of 3.5 by 2.5 millimeter faceted cubic spacer beads, and they are lead, nickel, and cadmium free. So that makes me happy. But they're these little, these really cool little spacer beads that are they're cuboid, but they're also faceted. So they've got angular movement, which, yeah, it came up on a live once when we had Party Crashers, and it's a thing. The angular movement. I like that. It'll play into some of the really cool things. So we've got some of those, and I'm gonna go ahead and slide them. Actually, let me get my little scoop back out. I'm going to have them in here, but I'm gonna keep them in the bag because they're gonna be easier to use than if I have to scoop them like this. So, just because of the size, I might change my mind. But for now, they'll go like this. So I can still see them, know what I've got, plan with them, but they're just gonna be a little easier to pull out and use. Okay, and we've got 3 more items. After the cube beads, we have some filigree bead caps. There's 100 pieces of them, so I'm not going to take them out of their bag. They're 6 millimeter filigree bead caps. They're lead-free and cadmium-free, so they're gonna go here in the Beki section. But I'll take a few out of the bag to show you. I will. There we go. So some of them went right side up, some of them went upside down. These are just small and delicate, and I really wish that they were nickel-free because this is exactly the kind of bead cap I like to use, where they're not going to cover the beads so much as give it a little crown. And not a hat, a crown. So they're exactly the kind that I would typically like to use. So I will set them aside for my sister, though. They're so light and delicate. So light and delicate. Okay, so that's gonna go in that one. And then we've got, this is the 26 millimeter, 18 karat gold plated brass and CZ fold over moon clasp. And this is really cool clasp, but it is not nickel free or hypoallergenic. And so I'm going to give this to Beki, but just pop that open, I think. I can't get it to release. Is there a trick? So it should just open right here, and maybe it's just the first time you open it. A lot of these clasps with the finishing, they're stiff the first time. But I'll let Becky wrestle with that. But you just attach the loop here and the loop here and have this really pretty clasp. You could incorporate this in the front of your design and have it be more of a design feature instead of hidden at the back of your design. So there's some really cool things you can do with that. So I'm going to stick that in there as well. And then the last item is 1 meter of 3 by 2 millimeter hypoallergenic stainless steel cable chain. So it is some gold chain, and that's one of the things I actually don't have very much in the way of gold colored chain, and so I'm happy that I have this and that it is hypoallergenic, so I can absolutely use this. So I'm going to shift some things over so that when I take a picture of this box, we can see everything in it. These ones I'm keeping. So I'm gonna have these bottom 2 sections here are the ones that I'll remove after the video to give to Becky. But I have a decision to make, friends. Let me move these things out of the way so that I can show you what is in here, all of the things together. I don't know if I want to make some earrings with the moon charms or if I just want to make a fun bracelet. I might just want to make a fun bracelet. Let's see about doing that. Like, I think it would be really fun to use some of these guys because I do think that these, with the way they're drilled, are going to be most fun in a bracelet design. So I want to use some of those. I don't think I want to use all of them, but I could use some of them. And we could use one of these guys as a focal. And some of the, I want the crystals. I love these lantern crystals. I'm just over here, I'm designing on this side. Let's see, I'm gonna move it here so you can see what I'm doing. So here's kind of what I'm putting down. I wanna use some of these crystals because they really play well with that Montana blue. And I wanna use them to kind of give some space between these beads. And I think playing along the same lines, I kind of want to work in, maybe I'll use some of these gold spacer beads to give further space along that bracelet. So that, like, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the gold spacer beads with that. Let me grab some beading wire. I'm going to grab one of my favorite colors. I have a lot of favorite colors, but I do really like this dark blue lapis beading wire, and I think that it's going to be nice with this design. It will show through these lighter colored, like champagne moons, but I don't think that that's going to be a problem. I want to use that. And I'm going to need come on. I'm going to need some crimp tubes, and I'm going to need a clasp of some sort. I might just use one of these toggle clasps. Yeah, I'll just use one of those toggle clasps. Or one of my small magnetic ones. I can use a magnetic clasp or one of these toggle clasps. I'll see what I'm feeling like when we get to the end of the bracelet. But I do think that's what I want to make. So let me get out some tools. I am going to be using, for attaching the clasp, I don't usually attach it directly to the beading wire. I'll use jump rings for that. So I'll be using my Casual Comfort plier set. And then for crimping, I'll be using my magical crimper. And then I'm using flush cutters and stuff to cut my wire. So pretty easy on the tool set. Pretty easy on the tool set. But let's get these guys out and have some fun. Pour out a few of these spacer beads. this is the design portion, friends. I'm glad you stuck around for this part. Let's see what I make and see what we think of it when we're all done. So, getting out my beading wire. I like to keep my wire on the spool while I'm designing, and I work from usually the middle of my bracelet design, especially if I'm using something as a focal or focal area, so that I can make sure that I'm getting the length that I want and I don't have to restring the whole thing as I adjust my design for it. So I'm going to start with this guy, and I'm going to be using these gold spacers in between each of these other beads that I have laid out in my quick arrangement that I made here on my mat. See, that doesn't look bad with the blue wire through it, especially with the blue being that thread throughout. I think that's going to be really cute. And I am curving those moons in toward the focal on purpose. So the focal is the same front and back. The moons are the same front and back. The only thing that you really need to think about is the direction that your moon is facing, if it's opening in or opening out. So yeah, I'm already loving this. Just a quick, simple bracelet design that I think is going to be really satisfying when we finish with it. I think I'm going to do a magnetic clasp. Like, now that I'm stringing this, I'm putting it on here. I don't want a big, heavy gold toggle clasp. So I'll probably do one of my magnetic clasps, because I do have several of those. In fact, I'll do one of the circle-shaped ones. They're just kind of a coin shape. Because I feel like that will fit with what we have going on. I'm in danger of using all of these crystal beads. I hope that they show up in the box extras. Watch for that in the next couple of weeks. They'll post the box extras the same day they post the companion bundle. So you want to make sure that you join the Facebook group and sign up for the newsletters if you're not subscribed. If you're a subscriber, you will also get email notifications when these things become available. But that is so pretty. Like, I like it. Here we go. That's close enough you guys can see. How fun is this? I love the way it catches the light and has that pretty glow. And I am about to check to see how long I've got. Yes, yes, friends. I know I need a bracelet mandrel. I know. I'm getting one, I promise. I'm just trying to see if I'm to the point where I need to start wrapping up this design. I think I am. Because I do like my bracelet to fit a little bit loose. That might actually be too long. Actually, give me just a moment. I'm going to flip my mat because it does have millimeters, but it does have measurements on the side, and I know roughly what I'm looking for beaded length. So I'm just flipping my mat so that I can use this. Here we go. All right, so from the middle of that, oh yes, that's almost perfect. That is almost perfect for my beaded length that I want. So I'm going to end it right here for this side. So if you have never used a magical crimper before or would like to see another demonstration, I'm going to show you. It is meant to be used with 2x2 crimp tubes and 0.018 to 0.019 wire. This medium soft flex is 0.019, so it's perfect for that. I also use soft flex crimp tubes. The brand of crimp tube doesn't matter, but the quality does. You want to make sure you have something that has a decent size wall. See that ring there? If it's too thin, then it will just crumple instead of making the round bead that the magical crimper does. So I'm just feeding the wire back through it to make a loop. cinching that a little bit. And then I'm centering the crimp tube in the magical crimper. You do want to make sure that it's centered. And once it's centered, you just give it a little bit of a squish. And what it does is in that first squish, it presses down the 4 corners of that crimp tube to make a little bit of a ravioli. So you're just going to take that and 90 degrees from where you just were, so it's going straight up and down, center it again in your crimp tube, and give it another squish. And then from there, you just keep rotating it and giving it little squishes. Open your jaws a little bit to rotate it. I have found that for me, when I was learning to do this, it's easier for me not to check in between, because then it might not be centered when I put it back in. It's a lot easier for me to keep it centered if I do it this way. So I just did a very small loop because I'm planning on using jump rings to attach my clasps. And then snip off your little bit of excess wire, just like that. So then I'm going to scoot this down to the end of what I've made, and I'm going to double it back. And then I'm going to give myself about another 2.5 inches of wire so that I can maneuver that to do my loop and crimp on the other side. So now that I've done that, I am just stringing the exact opposite. Oh, I didn't show you. After I finished crimping, it just made this little smooth ball of crimp. So you don't have to use crimp covers unless you just want to. I choose not to. So I don't have to worry about that getting scratchy or anything, so it's all fine. Oops, I'm gonna mix my crimp tube in with my gold spacers. That will be fun. And again, I'm just mirroring it, so this time I'm making sure that these moons are also facing the middle, so they're going the opposite of their friends on the other side. And just alternating that gold and the lanterns. Get my other moon in. And I didn't count, but I will. Just making sure that I match up between the two sides of my bracelet. And I am gonna need some more beads. So this has, I had 7 of these lanterns on this side, so I need one more lantern because I've got one here. Nope, I've got enough lanterns. I just need more of the spacers. That's easy enough. These lantern crystals are they're just making me so happy. Their shape is perfect for this. And of course their color. They're making me very happy. Okay, so I'm just taking this wire and feeding it through my loop on the other side so that I can pull this tight and kind of see where I am. That's going to help me determine which clasp I want to use. Yeah, see, this is if it was going to be tight on my wrist. I prefer it to be a little bit looser, but you can see there's not a whole lot of room there, and so one of my smaller magnetic clasps will probably be perfect. I like my bracelet to be able to rotate on my wrist. You can see how that's going to be. Rotate on my wrist freely, so I do want it a little bit loose, but I don't want it so loose that it's going to roll off my hand. That's how I prefer to wear my bracelets. So I'm just going to put my other crimp bead through here. I won't do the full demonstration, but I will show you how to use it on the other side when you're going to be right up against beads. I'm just feeding the wire back through, giving my bracelet a little bit of a curl so that I can make sure that it will be flexible. But then as I'm pulling this loop closed, I'm actually keeping my thumb between this last spacer bead and the crimp tube so that I will have room to use the crimping pliers without crunching the bead that's there. So that's important, especially if you're using seed beads or anything else that it might break easily. I'm not too worried about a metal spacer bead, but I still want to make sure that I have room for that bead to be not in my crimper, because I also don't want to damage my crimper. Try to crunch a metal bead. Okay, and then you just crimp the same as you would on the other side. And see, this time, because I didn't take it out to show you, I just moved straight to that second squish that was at 90 degrees without moving it out, and that helped me, again, it helps me to keep it centered so that I get a better crimp. Just something I've found has been helpful for me as I've been learning. And there we have it. There we have it. Give this a little snip. I'm going to get out some jump rings and decide on, I think this circle one I was going to do is going to be too much space. Is this any better is the question. Huh. They're sticking to each other. See, this is slightly smaller and will give me a little bit more, but I do like the round one. I'm going to do the round one, but I'm going to take off these extra little things. So these magnetic clasps, they're meant to be used to add to existing jewelry, whether or not you make jewelry. And so there's a loop and a lobster on each one. I'm not using them, and they are actually attached with jump rings. I'm going to open and use the jump rings they've got, though, instead of digging out my own jump rings, since they are here and partially attached. So I'm just going to open this side, and I'm just using the tip of my magical crimper as, you know, another set of pliers to get the lobster claw off, and then slipping the end of my bracelet on in its place. And then I'm going to do that on this other side. Just have to find the opening in this, right where I put my pliers, of course. I suspected, but I couldn't see because it was closed. Then taking the little loop off of that end and putting the other side of my bracelet on this. So, and then just swinging that jump ring closed. And this magnetic clasp, it does have, it's like, it nests inside of it. So it's not like posts, but it's actually like a whole ring that does that. So this is my moon bracelet, and it is a perfect fit. This is exactly how I want it to fit, where it can shift easily, but this is not going to roll off my wrist. How is that? Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. I am going to go ahead and get my mat flipped back over because I'm not needing that side anymore, but I do want to get our box out where you can see all of the fun goodness of it. And I'm going to get my bracelet out and have that right beside it, so you can see one last look. This is the August Bargain Bead Box. Again, check the description for links if you want to sign up. You get best value for money. It's not an expensive box, but it's very, very lovelyly curated. This the current subscription is $22.99. It is about to go up to $24.99. So if you see the lower price, go ahead and snag that. You'll be grandfathered in at least for a certain amount of time. But the value of everything in this shipment is over $95. So this is what I mean by you get fantastic value for the money that you spend on this subscription. So sign up if you want to, and if you're already signed up and you're just waiting for your own box, I hope you've enjoyed this organizing and my little make. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful time. As always, happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye.